What's good, crew? It's Piccolo Black here again with another overview. Not too long ago, I put a video out about the Note Grabber by MIDI, and in that video I had a couple comments asking me to do a video about Samplab. Samplab's been around for a while now, and it is a audio to MIDI converter, and a really good one at that. We're gonna have a look at what I've seen so far. There are two versions available, one that is a free version and one that is a paid subscription, and we'll talk about that more in the video. For now, let's just have a look at Samplab and I'll give you my thoughts. Alright, so you may notice, some of you, that I'm using Ableton 12. We're going to do a video about that, and that will come out soon. So we got Samplab up here, and first of all, this can be used standalone, which was that was really interesting. I don't think I would ever use something like this standalone, but it's there. We have undo and redo, which is really useful. Save, deactivate monitoring, activate monitoring, change the grid. We can go all the way up to 1/16. We can't go any higher than that. And then there's auto. I'm just going to keep in auto. We can pitch the grid, time grid. This has got pretty much everything, and you can export, drag to sample, MIDI file, and audio file, which is interesting. All right, cool. So far, so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. You've got the BPM here. It's synced to the DAW's BPM. So if I change this, yep, it changes in the plugin. And this is the free version, by the way. So far, so good. I do know that it limits the sample time, but what I've done here ahead of time is I've created 3 tabs. So essentially, you could just do the 10 seconds and do another 10 seconds, or split it across 3 different projects and do it that way. Whatever you do, it's really not that difficult. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a comparison of 3 different types of sound. Let's get started. Now, it tells you in Ableton that this is 70 BPM and A sharp minor. So it's showing that it's in B flat minor, which I think is fine. It's the relative key, I believe. Estimate key during transformation, which is pretty cool, but we got it right here. It caught the BPM, it caught everything, which is crazy. So now down here, you can see that you can separate the instrumentals. You can take the whole instrumental, just the drums, just the bass, and if there's vocals, just the vocals, which is crazy that you can do that. But let's just see if we can get the bass first, and then we'll do drums and then whole instrumental. So I hit OK, and I guess it's just got a load here, and I'm gonna drag it into, I think this is so it looks like it grabbed everything. So I'm not quite sure how this works. But we got all the MIDI. So let's drag the MIDI out. So I'm gonna mute everything but what seems to be the bass. So I muted everything that wasn't the bass, because I would have just liked to have grabbed the bass, and maybe I might have missed something here, but I think I have a bass set up here from a previous track I was in. Nice. So obviously, if I turn that down to 70, you'll get the actual tempo we're looking for here. That's crazy, bro. Hold on a second. So let's just hear the original version. Yeah, it grabbed all of that. And then let's throw, oh, good at slowing down and increasing pitch. So you can change the warping algorithm. Just like how you can warp samples in Ableton, you can do it here as well. Good at speeding up and decreasing pitch. Low CPU usage, but more artifacts. Optimal method. This thing is crazy, bro. And it loops too, so you can just keep going for it. You can change the master volume. You can turn on a metronome. You can edit the chords. It tells you the chord. Okay, this thing is crazy. Why did none of you guys put me? No, I'm joking. You guys did put me onto this, so thank you. I didn't know this existed. Having this free, this is crazy. But let's have a look then at the rest of what we can do here. So use notes as sampler on this track. Oh my God, I can mute the bass. You can split the stems actually. Oh, okay. So this is the best approach to do this. This is crazy. Okay, so for what, it is kind of confusing. Like, how this stuff comes apart. If I do the bass alone, I have no problems. But when I start trying to pull it apart and separate it, that's when it kind of falls apart. This will be really interesting. I have some drums down here somewhere. I want to see if I can actually grab the audio of just the drums, because that's really cool. Like if you want to sample some drums, now it sounds kind of crazy, but if you know how to, you can make this sound fire. And then let's hear the original. I've got the MIDI exported for that. So let's hear how that sounds. There you go. That's it right here. You can see it all here. And now the way I would use this is I would take this and extract the groove. That would make the whole track in that same kind of vibe. So you want some nice disco vibe? There it is. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to make sure that I extract that groove. That was quick. I don't know if it's because I'm using Live 12, but that was crazy quick. I didn't even realize it extracted it. So we got everything here. We're going to go into MIDI, just grab the chords. We'll hit no on that. And let's play that alongside the sample. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that it's more like giving you a guideline of the chord progression rather than the actual notes that the sample is playing, which is fine because that's pretty much what I look for when I do it by ear. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so this is an ALF free kit bell loop. It's in F and it's 70 BPM. So let's try that out. So we've got Samplab up here and we're just going to drag this in. So that's the sample. We don't have any drums on this, so I'm just going to turn that off. There's no bass. I made it so it's simple, just like how I did the test in my last video. If you want to watch that, in the description above. And we will go ahead and convert it. All right, first let's grab the MIDI file. So we'll just grab that. What we'll do is we'll just nudge that up. So that's odd. I don't think that kind of matches what we were trying to get. Maybe if I kept everything, let's just keep everything on there and see what happens. And maybe it's also because this is the free version. I don't know what the unlimited version is like, but so far on the free version, when you split it, it does not like being split up. So we'll take this. Let me know your thoughts on that. It didn't really pull much information out. Let's try a guitar. It's very straightforward. This one's by Cymatics. It's called Grapevine, 136 BPM, G sharp minor, and it picked it up right away. One thing this is really good at is picking up, like I trust it when it finds a key of a sample. So what will be really interesting is trying just a random sample I have, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to get any copyright strikes, and I'll probably just test it offline and see how that comes out. But that's very interesting. Okay, so luckily I have a guitar set up already because I knew I was going to do this sample. I found like a decent strum that goes with it in Session Guitarist. So it's going to take those chords and turn them into strums, and let's just hear how that sounds. That don't sound bad. Let's hear it with the guitar. We'll pan the Cymatics samples to the left and the exported to the right. Hear how that sounds together. So there is some method to the madness here, right? There are ways around it, but the idea is that I want to be able to grab the notes that I want to grab, and I feel like I'm not able to do that with the free version. but it did grab the chords really well on this one. So guitar works really well. I'm just confused about like actual samples. Did you find this video informative? Did you enjoy it? Feel free to hit that subscribe button and join the crew. Share the video. I don't know. It's up to you. Okay, so my final thoughts on Samplab. I think that the UI is strong. I like everything about it. The warping, pulling apart of notes from drums and instrumental. I think that's all fire. I don't think the 10-second restriction on the free version is a big deal. There are ways around that. Where the weaknesses are though are the instrumentals. It only gives you the bare bones of chord progressions. I would like a little bit more detail. It does do a really good job of pulling out grooves. I can see myself using it. I'm definitely going to keep the free version because I have a bunch of records that I can just pull out grooves from, extract those grooves and use them forever. So that's gonna be fire. I don't have to wait around for drums. Now I know Serato can do the same thing, and I've tried it and had mixed results from it. Maybe I should do a comparison. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. But once again, instrumentals, it seems to get confused. It doesn't really get details. And that's where I would say the comparisons kind of end. Like with Note Grabber, you can paint your own picture there. You can pull out more detail. I already did a overview of Note Grabber. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description and you can let me know your thoughts on that too. I think that there could be better ways for Samplab to help you extract those MIDI files. The way it pulls out MIDI files is odd. I mean, it's got an extraction button and that's cool and everything. Sometimes you can pull it out and then you can end up pulling out the Samplab version, which only makes sense in the Samplab track. I'm not even sure at that point if I'm playing the original audio or a MIDI version of it. When it pulls out the audio, so you can like pull out the audio of just the drums and separate that, or just the bass and separate that, and it sounds so good. Now once again, that's just for separating samples. We're talking about audio to MIDI conversion. It does that, I feel, at a basic level when it comes to instruments. And that's fine, because to be honest, you should be able to take that and make it bigger, elaborate on it. That's your job as a producer, right? You don't need everything given to you. However, once again, with the Note Grabber, you can do that on the fly, drag it out, drop it on, and it's there, right? And you get to see all the notes you want, all the notes you don't want. You have to do a bit of tweaking, but it's pretty good. I like both of them for different reasons. I think that I'll definitely be using Samplab for a lot of things that I won't be using Note Grabber for, and I'll be using Note Grabber for a lot of chord progressions that I just won't want to use Samplab for. I genuinely don't think they do the same thing. Samplab is like kind of half Note Grabber, half Serato in a lot of ways. So it's hard to fully compare them. I think Note Grabber is specifically focused on chord progressions. Samplab is kind of more of a utility box of many different things. I can see a reason to argue for both sides. And Samplab, oh my god, I love its UI. It's snappy, it's not slow, it has an undo feature, but remember, it's been here for a few years. We don't know where Note Grabber is going to be in year 2, 3, 4, 5 going ahead. Have you guys tried both? Now, if we're talking about the paid version, I'm not a fan of subscription. If you're gonna pay for one, I am probably gonna pay for the one that doesn't have a subscription. Let me know your thoughts. I've been Piccolo Black.